Hello and welcome back to Inquisitor Martyr. Last time we ended up dealing with the Voidrippers, had to think for a moment, and sent the station they were all hiding in back into the warp. And with that done, we have to talk to the captain.
Inquisitor, you have a message from the Conclave, a quite agitated one, it seems. It gave the astropath nightmares and fits.
Will purge of the corn infestation. We are also extremely displeased with the way you handled the fallout of the Ranielli incident. Not only did you openly defy our order, you have also initiated a new conflict in the subsector. There is a reason why the entire existence of the Stormwatchers is a highly classified secret. As you have already concluded, the Voidrippers are former traitorous Stormwatchers who fled the warp millennia ago, in the belief that all their brethren perished. Then they began their insane crusade, now aware of their existence again, and launched an offensive against the secret Stormwatcher Homeworld in the Tarantia system. Travel to the Ascalon Hive World, meet the Grand Master of the chapter in his bastion, and help them sort out this mess.
Alright, so now we get to fix all the problems I guess we caused.
These are the coordinates the Conclave provided. Meanwhile, all scanners and Vox transmissions confirm that this hive is under attack by Chaos forces.
What is this place exactly, Thor?
Our place of remembrance and peaceful prayer.
Not that peaceful anymore. Let's follow the sounds of battle.
I thought sending the station back into the warp would have at least slowed the Voidrippers.
We are doomed! We are fighting for our world! And we know no fear! Inquisitor, whatever you wanted must wait. I'm quite busy, as you can see.
And here I was thinking that the Stormwatchers are spread so thin that they won't refuse the assistance of the Holy Orders.
We are spread thin because of the growing demands of the Holy Orders. And now, I received word that our gene seed repository is under attack.
Asking permission to join the battle, sir.
Permission granted. Welcome home, brother. Clean this bastion of filth while we move out to defend the repository.
You will not ignore me, Grandmaster. The Inquisition embodies the blessed will of the Emperor. Show more respect.
Don't dare question my devotion to the Imperium. I respect your rank, but we have no time for pleasantries. Feel free to join our brother in the glorious carnage.
We have located 3 separate groups of hostiles in the area. Show them no mercy.
I'll admit, the Grandmaster's voice is kinda lame. It's nothing compared to, Dawn of War 1 and 2's Space Marine voice, where it's got that heavy metallic flange to it.
Reloading.
Oh, someone's a psyker, I think. I don't remember that giant blood explosion thing happening.
Inquisitor, couldn't you leave this affair to the Adeptus Astartes?
Between you, if it weren't for our meeting, this hive might still be peace. That's the least I can do.
If you are jumping straight into a planetary invasion, can I suggest that at least you call in some appropriate assistance again?
You must be referring to ourselves as the no-day
A pilot of the Crimson Wanderer, indeed.
I like the idea. Contact me to make the necessary arrangements for his transport.
Yeah, it's like bloody skulls that explode. It's a very interesting ability.
Target in sight. Target acquired.
I was about to say, I know I did not get a one-hit kill on that Space Marine. But yeah, like, I just miss the Dawn of War 1 and 2 Space Marine voice. It fit really well. And I mean, I watched, actually, yesterday, a video. This guy did like a unofficial documentary on Dawn of War 3 and just all its failings. And it was interesting. There was stuff I didn't even know about, like some of the advertising that they did, and God, it was just bad. Which is a shame. I definitely agree with the sentiment a lot of people had. They took way too much from like League of Legends and even like Warcraft 3. And it's just not a good look. I mean, you look at it, you can't really turn an RTS into a MOBA without it just becoming a MOBA. Like, you can't be like, oh, well, I like the turret element like they had in Dawn of War 3. It's like, well, those turrets defended your base. And even though, yes, it prevents certain strategies like rushing people, but that's kind of the strategy. The way to counter rushing is to not make Annihilation the objective. You know, if you do, you know, yeah, the best you do is you take the Annihilation mode from Dawn of War 1, you take the point control from Dawn of War 2, you have the cover system, and you have a pretty good setup. You know, if you don't want to be rushed, don't play Annihilation. If you're cool with taking that risk, go for it. You know, who cares? And of course, one of the big things is that they'd point out too was the heroes. You either took the low-end heroes that you could spam early game, or you lost. Because even though the later game hero units would be more powerful, they took too long.
I am contacting you through this closed channel. Do you copy?
Are you finished down there?
No, this is just a lull. Anyway, you must be the Inquisitor who ventured into our ancient outpost. We really need to talk. Later, I suppose. We have incoming.
Aiming.
I mean, the easiest thing, if you want to do the multiple hero thing, I don't see a problem with it. It just needs to be done in a way that works. I would almost say limit it so you have to have one tier 1 hero, one tier 2 tier, one tier 3 hero, just to effectively force balance. You know, you could make it so you can have a tier 1 hero in your tier 3 slot, but you can't have a tier 3 hero in your tier 1 slot. This way, you know, people aren't running Imperial Knight first character. Because that would be absurd. Oh, I got some Space Marines are facing Tyranids. Oh, I got some Termagants. It's just like, nah, dude, Imperial Knight. At that point, you might as well just let Imperial Guard players pull Bane Blades right at the start. Who cares if you're gonna get just absolutely flattened by a Bane Blade for the longest time? And that's just me. I'm genuinely interested in what direction they were trying to take the game.
Target inside.
Because it, like some people had said, you know, it felt like the people who did the initial trailer knew more about 40K than the developers, which is really weird considering it was Relic the whole time.
I found you guilty close.
And I get it. You need to be constantly evolving. Games cannot remain stagnant. But also, like what was brought up, you're in your third game in a franchise. You can still expand on stuff without having to get really wacky. I mean, come on, Dawn of War 2 didn't even get all factions. I always wonder how Dawn of War 2 would have panned out if we had Tau or Necrons. You know, knowing how Necrons function with the reviving, would they be broken?
How are you faring?
So you do need an agent of the Inquisition, don't you?
I'm only saying that ours is not a huge chapter, and most of our brothers are on covert assignments all over the sector.
But it would be interesting to see, you know, how these games would have how the game would have panned out with other factions. You know, increase the number of characters or units. I'd love to see. That's what they should have done, was make. I feel like grand scale is something that isn't really touched on all too much, at least as of late.
Loading.
Like, you have Total War, and that's really it. Man, it sucks we lost both of those Space Marines. Really would have liked them just to draw fire.
Has been eliminated.
A good start, but our work is far from done here.
There's just a lot that definitely could have been changed and improved. Like what was also pointed out, you could say, hey, we killed the game, but it's not our job to like something we don't like. You know, if you don't like a game, you shouldn't feel obligated to play it. Even if it is a franchise you enjoy. Because even though you could argue, hey, well, they'll do more for it.
You must be the Inquisitor who opened up the chest of secrets and terror.
Before you start pointing things, you must know that I know all about the Voidrippers.
You don't know anything. You are ignorant of what it's like when your brothers are so overwhelmed with the fury and rage that they slowly succumb to madness and set against you.
I might have some idea about that.
But, like, you're not obligated to like a game you don't enjoy. And one thing I didn't see brought up, but I thought of was, let's say you did support the game, even if you didn't enjoy it. What's stopping the developers from being like, oh, clearly you liked, you know, this mode because you're playing this game, so let's keep making that, when in reality you're like, no, I don't like it, I just want you to improve it and make the game suck less. Well, you could tell from the forums, the feedback from the betas and stuff, they weren't listening. And at that point, if they're not listening to your feedback, then what makes you think they're going to listen to it later on?
Second troop of hostiles has been wiped out.
I'm ready to move against the last band. Pain is salvation.
And it does suck that they, at the end of the campaign, they're like, oh, well, the Necrons noticed what was going on, and then they never made the DLC to release the Necrons. I feel like Sega just pulled the plug a little too soon. But that said, they didn't... I don't know of anyone who actually gave them good reviews for that game. And there's also the problem, you know, they brought in some YouTubers, and the problem there is when you make stuff access-based, you're going to just get pandering. You know, the guys they brought in, they're not going to sit here and be like, yeah, this game honestly sucks, there's so many issues, why did you take these design choices? Because their whole thought is, this is my meal ticket, I need to pander so that when your next game comes out, you invite me back. And that is a very nihilistic view of things, I get that, but that's also kind of the reality. It's how the music industry was for the longest time, and to a degree still is. It really kind of cripples things, and it makes games worse because of it. I feel like if anything, they should be a little more open to giving people demo copies of games, at least like YouTubers and stuff, so that it's less, you know, kind of a hostage situation and more doing proper reviews. I mean, come on, these people give game copies to outlets like Kotaku. Clearly, it doesn't really matter too much because you're willing to give access to some of the most disingenuous and honestly ignorant journalists you can find. So clearly you're not that concerned, unless these companies are inadvertently stating they prioritize the word of YouTubers over these games bloggers, which I would actually commend and understand, because, you know, I'd rather listen to someone who actually has some idea of what they're talking about instead of someone who doesn't even like video games. But I'm deviating horribly. I was gonna mention, I like how as we've killed off groups, the world has changed, sky turned red, it's raining blood. Interesting little, I mean, not really a little change, because it's very obvious.
We have eliminated the hostiles in the bastion.
The repository is also being pacified as we speak. However, I have reports of a full-scale invasion staged in the local void port, and we are tied up in Sector Zeta.
I could be of some assistance.
Honestly, any help would be most welcome, Inquisitor. I will send you the details.
But that is all for now. If you enjoyed this episode, make sure to hit the like button, it helps out the channel a lot. And if you haven't already, make sure to hit the subscribe button. Thank you for watching, and I'll see you in the next one.